So it's 8 o'clock in Texas, and I'm on an island just off the shore of Seattle, and we're at 6 a.m., but that's okay because I'm staying on Texas time as much as I can. But I'm on vacation, but I have to tell you, you've all been here with me the entire time. I'm at a healing art workshop with the person who developed art touch therapy, and so it's been amazing. And last night, this group of about 30, it went into prejudice and racism. It was not the plan. Something was said, and the whole group stayed in the room. And people at the end said, this is the first time I've been in a conversation that could be polarized, and still was, but where my heart rate was not as fast and no one left. And it gave me so much hope that if we keep practicing the difficult conversations, we will become stronger at staying with each other in them. And that's where we want to be anyway, right? Staying with each other. So it gave me a lot of hope that the work that we had done for the first 3 days made a difference. It made a difference. So, and we all know that healing not only makes a difference, but it's essential. It's essential to who we are and where we're going as a planet. So it's good to be with you this morning. Billy's going to be host so that we don't lose connection, although my connection has been really good, but Billy's going to run the video so we don't lose that. I want to check something first. So I want to invite everybody to go down to the bottom of your screen where it says reactions. And when you click on reactions, it says raise hand. All right. So, and I want to ask, how many folks here have registered for Pathways to Hope? Please click on raise your hand. How many folks have registered for Pathways to Hope? How many folks have registered for Pathways to Hope? Look at that. Okay, well, I'm going to ask again next week. We're in the end run, and we need everyone here, not just to register. I should say we need everyone there, not just to register, but to tell other people. Human research, neuroscience tells us the best movement is done by word of mouth. So if you could be telling others, and if we all just invited somebody to come with us and register, that's how we're going to get the community there and participating in that healing as a community that we need so desperately in terms of mental health. So now we all know that we all know how to raise our hands, so we can lower our hands. And I'm going to turn this over to the Pathways folks and tell us more about Pathways to Hope, and maybe even tell us about one of the keynotes, Doug. Somebody we can look forward to hearing from.
Okay. You know, the workshops are great. The plenary speakers are great, but I can tell you where everybody gets so much out of the conference is meeting and seeing each other. And we talk about community, and I think that, you know, I find it a very healing place, a place to come where you can visit with people. You walk in, we leave our labels behind us, and we're there because we want to be with other people. We want to learn how we can support one another, and especially those people who are dealing with mental health issues. But this was, we started it in order to help bring the community together in one place and have that conversation that a lot of times people are uncomfortable having, but it is incredibly healing. So this year, one of our keynote speakers will be Raul Andrews Jr. He's the Executive Director, CEO of the American Psychiatric Association Foundation. He is a great speaker. He'll be coming in from Washington, D.C., and part of his part of the theme at the American Psychiatric Association is building community. And the reason they're focusing on that is that that's one of the ways that people get well, is when they come together. So Raul Andrews will be here, and the Reverend Dr. Q English, who is with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and in charge of neighborhood and faith initiatives. She will also be joining us, as well as we have 16 different workshops. You don't have to go to all of them. Just pick the ones that you want to go to. Come for the plenary sessions. This is a unique event in the country, and we're very, very fortunate to have the support of the county and people in our community who've helped, a lot of people who've helped put this together and bring this to San Antonio. So you've got the link in the web chat. Register, bring a friend, tell a friend, and feel free to copy the link and send it out to people in your network and post it on your website. Let's all show up.
Yeah, it's exciting when you walk into the Tobin. First of all, it's a beautiful place. But it's just buzzing when you walk in with people and community. The theme this year is better together. Better together. So it's going to need our focus together and working together to bring healing to our community. I want to try that raising hand thing again. So everyone, go down to the bottom and where it says reactions and click on that. And then it says raise the hand. How many of you have experienced mental health concerns personally, in your family, in your neighborhood, in your congregation, in the past, in the present? Just raise your hand. We're not going to go into telling the whole story. Look at this. Here we go. Here we go. In fact, I probably should have asked, those who have grown up in a situation where there have been no mental health concerns, where, there's been no violence, where should I make that list? Whose hand would raise up that you grew up without any of that, right? Right. It impacts all of us. And so the intersection should be there. I think we need to be there. And might be kind of interesting to do one on location or something. We've not thought about doing that, but we might do that. So feel free to lower your hand. Today, the session that we're going to be hearing about is being grateful, and also our interconnectedness, gratitude and interconnectedness. And it might not seem like, I don't know, it seems like a nice, good things, right? Good things that we should be doing. But they are both practices of compassion. And you probably have heard of like gratitude journals. Some people have done all sorts of things, and maybe some of you have practiced gratitude. Not that it comes up just on Thanksgiving, but, I've practiced gratitude. One of my newest practices in gratitude has been when I wake up, especially in the morning, and I think of someone, that I reach out to that person and I tell them about my gratitude for them in my life. And it really makes a difference to my day. And I know we all have times where we think of somebody, like you haven't thought of for a while, right? And so it's that kind of thing. And sometimes I'll do it more than just in the morning, but I try to send out gratitude vibes when I have it in a meeting or something, and I think about somebody, or I try to just tell people when I'm feeling it too. It makes a difference. I think it makes both of us stronger, but there's a wholeness that, at least for me, that happens when I do that. There's a completeness. None of us know how long we have, right? But I do have this moment to say to all of you that I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for the 3 years that we've been meeting every week, except Thanksgiving, when we give full gratitude for all things. And so that's what it's about this morning. And Linda Ximenes, one of our own strong leaders in San Antonio, is sharing her wisdom with us today in that. I do realize that we have some other probably announcements, but I want to get on with the video, and we're going to do some more announcements, but before 8:30, so we get all the announcements in. But let's go to the video. Billy's going to run it for us today.
I love a great cup of coffee. Coffee is one of those simple pleasures in life. Thanks to my morning cup of coffee, I can always count on starting my day in a good mood. If I stop and think about it, many people and circumstances help make my morning coffee possible. There are the people who work at my favorite coffee shop, the people who deliver the coffee beans to the shop, the people who roast the coffee beans and package them, the people who harvest the beans and ship them, the folks who plant the coffee plants, and of course, there is the soil, the water, and the sunshine that allows the coffee to grow. There is so much about this cup of coffee to be thankful for. As I reflect on a simple cup of coffee, my circle of gratitude just got really wide. Of course, there are so many good things in life I have to feel grateful for. My family, health, where I live, my pet, and this beautiful day. We can all name things for which we feel a deep sense of gratitude, just as I traced the many hands and elements that brought me this cup of coffee. If we take the time to think about it, we realize what a significant role interdependence plays in our lives, allowing us to honor all the visible and invisible threads that connect us. Today, we will be talking with Linda Ximenes, Tribal Council member of the Tapilam Coahuilteca Nation, Jarame Clan, about gratitude and interdependence. We will also learn the vital role they play in compassion-centered living.
There's always, 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 always something you can be grateful for. There's a saying in Spanish, que no hay mal que por bien no venga. It's that there's nothing bad that can come to you, that there's not something good in there. The only bad experience is the one you don't learn from. And the learning part of it is the gratitude piece. Gratitude is something as easy as waking up in the morning and it's a beautiful day. Or it can be something as simple as you have a job. You have a place to live. You're alive. That's the place to start, right? When you see things that way, it gives you more abundance. And when you feel abundance in your life, things just go better for you. It's the scarcity mentality that gets you into difficulty, I think, a lot of times. If you see the glass half full, you've got water. If you see it half empty, you don't have enough. And it's that unfortunate perspective of there's not enough that really can cause a lot of heartache. One of the fairly well-known practices with Native people is to do giveaways. It's not a giveaway in the sense that you're giving everything away, which is also done, but it's a sense of indicating that you are willing to share your abundance with others. You're recognizing that you couldn't have done it without everybody there, and that you're aware that you're blessed. That's the gratitude, really. Part of the problem is that we've been indoctrinated into this notion of being separate and not being interdependent. And even though sometimes we don't really believe it, it's there and you're operating from it and you don't even realize you're operating from it. And for us here, the community is very important because some of us have been raised in more of an indigenous culture than others, and so we're constantly learning from each other and figuring out how to do things in a better way that benefits the group, not just me. Living in interdependence and gratitude gives you an opportunity to see your blessings. Trauma takes that away. Trauma breaks that feeling of connection, and what's left is a lot of hurt. There's not one thing that's going to get you from trauma into healing, and understanding that you're part of a community, and understanding that there are people there who want to support you, that will take you into Sweat Lodge, that will take you to a teepee ceremony, that will pray for you at Sundance. Interdependence means that we depend on everything else. We depend on those microbes in the soil. We depend on the air being clean. We depend on having clean water to drink. Many people do not understand that level of interdependence. They just think about, I need to depend on my husband or my wife or my son or my daughter or my family or my boss or whoever. But it's not just depending on other people. We're part of everything, and everything is part of us.
I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to connect with you today. This water is so refreshing. Have you ever thought about how amazing it is to have fresh water to drink? We just have to turn on the faucet and there it is. But what about the workers who manufacture the pipes, the plumbers who install them, and the people who treat the water? Then there's the aquifer it emerges from, and the clouds and the rain. Okay, you get the idea. We hope you enjoyed this video and the skills that you learned. For more resources and to continue learning, please visit the link on the screen and join the Compassionate USA Skills course.
Thank you. Beautiful, right? It was just such a joy to listen to Linda. I'm wondering, what resonated with you the most? What was in there that, really spoke to you? And if you want to go ahead and open your mic or raise your hand now that we all know how to do that. Sammy.
Just being grateful. That's one thing I always share with my clients. I speak to a lot of clients each and every day, and I'm telling them all the time that we should be grateful that we're alive, for one thing. And that's the first thing I do every day. I wake up, I open my eyes, and I say, "Thank you, God." I lost my 38-year-old nephew a couple of weeks ago to a heart attack.
Oh.
And we're burying him this week, and be grateful, because none of us are promised a tomorrow. So every day is a day of opportunity for us to do better for others. Some people don't have that opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
And we all know that's true. We forget, but we know. Sending you a
Sam, for
hug.
sharing.
Emma?
I was thinking about, as the movie was going, we say thank you, but how she brought it all the way back to the land, to the sea, to the sun. I think sometime if we just get that opportunity to detach from things that keep us cluttered and confused, and just focus and say, I thank you for all the way from the beginning, the sun and the moon and our environment. I think that would help us even more to be even more grateful for the things that are going on and not take it for granted. So I truly enjoyed it.
And I think, when she mentioned being grateful for the water, it reminded me that in one of our NAMI classes with families, we had a woman who looked a little glum one evening, and I said, "How are you doing?" She said, "Well, it's been a tough week." And this woman was a grandmother raising her young grandchild that her daughter, who had severe mental illness, had given birth to. And she and her husband in their 70s are beginning to take care of this young child. And she said, "Doug, but what I did last night is, before I went to bed, I decided I was going to think of 3 things that I could be grateful for. And I did. And so every night I do that as a practice. And so we pass that on to all our NAMI class people, because many people in our classes have really almost unimaginable challenges in their life. And so the next night after the class, the next week, one of our members brought a little notebook for everybody in the class to write down 3 things. And what we find is that it doesn't really matter how big or how small those items are that they're grateful for. They change your brain chemistry, they make you feel better, and they're healing. And so even, thank you for that glass of water. That practice of gratitude is extremely important in mental health and in helping people move on.
Yeah, practice it sends out different brain chemicals, hormones. I mean, this isn't just like a good idea, we've found what it does to the body and how it strengthens neural pathways. It strengthens our connectedness between each other. And this is how we're better together. And not to sound like a commercial, but that's exactly it. This is how we're better together. So other thoughts? What about interdependence?
Anne,
Yeah, Sharon.
I'd like to say something. Okay.
Sure.
Well, first of all, I actually had to miss the video because my grandson called and it's his 5th birthday today. And so I had to wish him happy birthday, talk about gratitude. And but I'm just kind of feeling a little bit like moved to be at the intersection, because I love the intersection. Like I really like to come here and have a chance to be with such wonderful people at such a real level. And we get to give Sam a virtual hug, and we get to just be with all of you amazing people. So I'm very grateful for that. And I would also like to say that I've started doing the micro course, and it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. So I just want to recommend it. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
And I think with that, I did put into chat some gratitude about Compassionate USA itself, and how it came and how it's being gifted. I'm not going to I'm going to say it though, given away, but it's being gifted to the world. And I'm proud of the heart of all of us to recognize that. I'm going to pause, but I'm going to ask another question in the pause. And so those who had announcements, we're going to turn to that because I want to give some time, because all the announcements that we hear are built on that same human labor. I mean, so we can do the whole water thing, the whole coffee thing that we did. So when we hear announcements, it's more than, an upcoming event. When we're hearing about these things, it's humans working, tilling the fields of our community, nurturing it, watering it, bringing healing to it. So I want to give as much time to other announcements that we can. But while we're doing that, I want to invite everyone to think then about gratitude and interdependence. But then how does that relate to our civic engagement, how we are engaged in our community, and where we see, say, gratitude displayed in the community? How do we do that? And where do we see some of the best benefits of interdependence? So I'll give an example, and then we're going to go. So if there are people who have announcements, if you'd raise your reaction down there. But I think again about the food bank at the beginning of the pandemic, and and all the cars lined up and all that they did to step forward and all those images, right? So I'm grateful. I have immense gratitude because I would never know how to organize that. That's not in my skill set, but it's in the food bank skill set, right? Under some good leadership of Eric Cooper. And our community is interdependent, not dependent, interdependent on feeding each other. So we have other announcements. I'm fairly sure we do. We had some hands up, unless I misread the hands up as something else. Sam and Nevada.
Yes, I had mentioned it at Tuesday's faith collaboration for domestic violence, but San Antonio Father Campaign with the American Indians of Texas and the Peace Initiative with a international company called No Mas are putting together the Fatherhood Summit this October. The subject will be masculinity and toxic masculinity and machismo. Guest speakers are going to be from No Mas. I got Jerry Theo coming in from California to speak. We have the provost and vice president of Our Lady of the Lake University who's going to speak. We're looking for other people to come speak. We're still working on if it's going to be a 1 or 2 day event. So that's coming up in October. We're probably going to switch the date because we understand that Big Mama's house is having a pretty big event as well. So we're probably going to change the date more likely, and we'll help with those at that event. And then just to mention something about interdependence, our parenting class is called Raising Children with Pride, and pride is an acronym for purpose, responsibility, interdependence, development, and enthusiasm. And in the interdependence part, we talk about it takes two to raise a family, and that the man and the woman, the husband and the wife have to work independently together to make sure that that's being done correctly. And that they're providing a safe and strong an environment for their children where they can benefit and prosper from, so that when they get old enough, that they send them into the world that they're going to have something good to offer to it, and not the generational curses that the population we deal with pass on from one generation to another, for the simple fact that they do not deal with their trauma. And we have a very strong saying here, what we teach at the American Indians is that trauma not transformed is transferred. So we want to make sure that people understand that message. Thank you, Anne.
You're welcome. Where is that going to be held, Sam?
On the campus of Our Lady of the Lake University.
The
So
lake.
we've already got a venue, but depending on how this transforms in the next 2 months, we might need a bigger venue. So right now it is Our Lady of the Lake, and right now tentatively it's October 14th.
Nevada,
Fatherhood
did you have
Summit.
something?
Yeah. So I was gonna send you a message later, Ann, so I'll just expect
Okay,
that.
great. Nevada, did you have something?
Good morning. Yes, I did. I am going to place a flyer in the chat, and it has to do with a community conversation that's coming up regarding foster care and how foster care is changing around the state of Texas. And we want to invite the faith community out on July 27th just to talk about the changes that are coming for Bexar County, and to discuss how, as a county, that we can embrace community-based care when it comes to our foster kids.
Thank you, Nevada. That reminds me, one of the breakouts during Pathways to Hope is about a congregation, True Vine. It's in District 2 on the east side of San Antonio, and they are part of the Property with a Purpose campaign, housing through the faith community. So they are creating on their property housing for young people who are transitioning out of foster care, and that's going to become a part of their ministry. And so they're not a very big congregation, but they're showing some big heart, and they have a beautiful setup because there's a public park right across the street, so they've got a lot of open space as well. is not far from St. Philip's College. They have a really strong program with young people transitioning out of foster care and going into college. So you can almost, and more than almost, start to see how community there then in proximity is working together and providing such strong model for the rest of us. So we're moving, we can start. And so I'm showing right there interdependence. I'm showing courage and strength and knowing how working together will make a difference. And I'm beyond grateful for the leadership that is stepping up to do that kind of thing. So I think Emma's talking, but you're going to have to turn on your mic, Emma. There you go.
I just wanted to make a quick correction.
Yeah.
But thank you for the shout out for True Vine. We are in partnership with Pastor Wilson. It is Abundant Life Baptist Church. They're right around the corner that is going to be doing that. And we are, matter of fact, meeting with the pastors today in District 2 and doing some things to move them forward with mental health. So thank you.
See, that one small human imperfection just made our interdependent circle bigger. So 8:31, those who might have to leave, thank you for being with us. And next week, we're going to be talking about compassion with others. And we're going to be hearing from Father David Garcia. Many of you know him and a lot of the work that he has done in terms of healing. And we're going to be talking, I think, a little bit about the Thanksgiving service, the annual one that happens at the cathedral. We'll talk about that next week. Father David started that many moons ago, and it's being transformed into a much bigger table. And so more about that next week. So back to civic engagement, the larger community, interdependence, gratitude, and any examples that you know and have seen or participated in. Did they just come to mind during our other announcements? Love to hear those, to celebrate them. Oh, Martha Ann's got her twinkles up. Martha Ann.
Super grateful for this group. And we're really, really trying on college and university campuses to spread the compassion movement, to spread the sense of we are interdependent, and to get young people, university and college students. So anyway, just want you to know that. Pray for us, send us your good energy. And I'm going to keep posting how we're trying to build service learning and get those young people with more of a sense of we belong to each other.
It makes me think of all the history and the other movements, so many movements who've come out from within the faith community, out of congregations, but also out of college campuses and young people. Those are two very strong and important models that we have. And to invest that way, we can do this. We're better together. We've got like this instant commercial available to us this morning. Others in terms of interdependence and gratitude. Well, then you just might be grateful for a few more extra moments today. I'm grateful, as I noted at the beginning, I'm on vacation and I'm sharing it with you. I'm on an island near Seattle, Whidbey Island. And I texted a picture of my cabin to a friend the other day. She said, so are you, like interacting with people or bears? So I said, both, which is kind of true of, the work we do. And so it's been good to wake up to all of your faces. And I will see you next Thursday morning. Oh, Nevetta's got her hand up. You got something?
Yeah, yes. As I'm thinking, I am in the compassion integrity training. And actually, Miss Martha Ann is my facilitator and doing an amazing job. But I am grateful for that class. And last week we were talking about systems and when you talk about interdependence, what comes to me is the interrelated reality that Dr. Martin Luther King talked about, which is how one affects all and all affects one. And as I get to just show up and serve in different spaces, I also truly believe that gratitude is contagious. I am intentional or just about being grateful or compassionate around the circles that I'm in. It what transfers or carries, and the energy just can change in a room just by one person being that catalyst for compassion and gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Any other last thoughts? Thank you all for being here today. I'll send some coolness your way. Have great weekends. See you next Thursday, if not before.